Hi, this is Danielle Simmons with the Simworks Family Blog, and today we're going to show you how to make hummus without tahini. Now, normally in the hummuses that I make, I use a tahini paste, which is basically sesame seeds ground up into a paste. Today we're going to show you how to do that with peanut butter. How awesome is that? Yeah, I love peanut butter. Now, Kelsey Kinser has this book, Vegan Beans from Around the World, and we're going to be taking her recipe for hummus and creating it for you today. Now, Kelsey not only has a hummus recipe in here, she has many different recipes that are vegan and are tasty. I've been able to sample a few of the dishes that she has in this recipe book with my family and have really gotten them to open their minds about not having meat as the main course in their dishes, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So if you do want, or if you are looking for some great vegan or vegetarian recipes, I definitely suggest checking out Vegan Beans from Around the World. Now our dish today, the hummus, is amazing for parties, snacking. It's kid friendly and very, very delicious. I love serving mine with pita chips. My kids eat it with their crackers or with their carrots. They also love to eat it with some broccoli as well. Yeah, I know, my kids are kind of weird. So sit back, relax, and let's make some hummus. Now the first thing we're going to do when making our hummus is to grab our garbanzo beans. Now in the recipe in the book, you'll see that it calls them chickpeas, but don't worry, garbanzo beans, chickpeas, they're all the same. And I totally just said garbanzo bees. No, garbanzo beans. So let's grab the awesome strainer that I have for my cans. Take this can of garbanzo beans and drain it. Now the reason why we're draining it is that in case we need some liquid later on to smooth out our hummus, we can go ahead and use the garbanzo bean juice. Now that we have our garbanzo beans, we're going to go ahead and add those to the food processor. Because I'm using crushed garlic in a jar, I don't need to actually chop up the garlic before I put the garbanzo beans in. So if you're using whole cloves of garlic, make sure to add the garlic in first and then chop them up and then add all of your garbanzo beans. So then I'm going to go ahead and grab a teaspoon of the garlic. And what's great about having the garlic in the jar is that 1 teaspoon equals 2 to 3 cloves, and I don't have to do any chopping or any preparation beforehand. And this just goes straight into the refrigerator and stays there whenever I need it. So the next thing that we need after that 1 teaspoon of crushed garlic is the salt and pepper. You can go ahead and just use a pinch or whatever you'd like to your taste. You can always go ahead and season the hummus later on if you don't like the amount of salt or pepper in there. And then the next thing we're going to go ahead and add are lemons. I like to give the lemons a little roll before I cut them so that I have a little bit more juice to work with. I know a lot of people like to microwave them or keep them hot or do something in order to release the juices, but this is my little trick to getting all the juice out. And as you can see, I am squeezing it the cut side up so that I can catch any of the seeds that might want to pop out and get into our hummus, because we wouldn't want to eat these seeds. Not tasty. There we go. And one more. And there we go. So the next thing we're going to add to our hummus is some paprika. Now the paprika does give it a little bit of a kick. It does have a little bit of spice to it. So if you don't like spice in your dishes, you can skip this or you can add less, whatever you prefer. Since I used the teaspoon for the garlic, I'm just going to go ahead and use the ½ teaspoon and make sure that I am only adding 1 teaspoon in because it does have that kick. Okay, we have that added. And then next up is our peanut butter. You don't know how surprised I was to see that someone put peanut butter in their hummus because I had never heard of it before. And it's actually kind of genius. It tastes pretty well. Okay, so we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. This is just getting all over. Here we go. And 1 more. Another item or ingredient that Kelsey puts in her dish is chopped peanuts, and she adds it kind of at the end to keep that crunch and just give it a little bit of chop. But since we don't really have peanuts in the house because my husband's allergic and we only have peanut butter, and even that's a little iffy for him, we don't put it in here. So the kids will still eat this with the peanut butter and it still has a great flavor, but we don't have the added chop of those peanuts on top. I'm going to go ahead and close this now. Before I add the last ingredient, which is our olive oil, I'm going to go ahead and give it a few pulses to get it going, and then we'll slowly drizzle in the olive oil. It's about 1/3 cup of olive oil, and the reason why I like to pulse it in and drizzle as I go is so that I can get the right consistency that I want for the hummus. Okay, now that it's come together a little bit more, I'm going to relieve this, grab our olive oil, and then slowly pour it in as I'm pulsing. You can go ahead and measure your olive oil in advance if you need to, but I just like to put it in as I go. Okay, well, it looks like we have the consistency that we want. So what I'm going to do is use the scraper and scrape down all of the sides of the food processor to make sure that I have everything incorporated. There we go. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and give it 1 more pulse. Make sure that we have everything in there, and then we're going to serve it up to eat. Make sure you put this back in. And there we go, we have our hummus. I'm going to go ahead and take it off and show you guys the consistency. It's absolutely beautiful. It has that great color, and it's ready to eat. Go ahead and grab your snacks and get dipping.